The Inforce Wild 1 is a sleek, compact light, but is it any good? Let's find out. Let me first explain why I love Inforce. Back in 2017, we were developing our CNC-based holster molds. Around that time, the Inforce APLC and APLC for Glock came out, and we developed our holsters for it using these precision tools. Those holsters, though not as rich as today's offerings, served our customers well and helped focus our business on designing and cutting molds in-house. In short, Inforce's product helped push us to be the company that we are today. Now, if you're as passionate about lights as we are, please hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notification bell down below. Fast forward to 2021 and Inforce released the Wild 2. We tested the Wild 2 in our full-size light comparison and it fared pretty well. We also beat the heck out of it, and it was nearly indestructible. But we had to wait and see what an Inforce compact light would provide. And now the Wild 1 has arrived. The $139 Inforce Wild 1 has competitive specification. The manufacturer claims 500 lumens, which is competitive with our benchmark compact light, the TLR7A. The Wild 1 has the same inward press aluminum switch design as the Wild 2. The light attaches with a single screw and uses rail keys compatible with popular pistols such as those from Glock and Sig Sauer. The Wild 1 secures well onto the pistol. I do prefer that it uses a more common flathead screwdriver attachment rather than a hex mechanism such as found on some of the other lights. While I like toolless options, I think most people will set the light up and leave it there, so frequent switching is not necessary. Just like the APLC, the Wild 1 looks great on a Glock 19. I think the market for the Wild 1 will be those who want a premium compact light that looks great on their pistol. The Wild 1's sleek design does not have extra levers that add bulk to the holster. The rail keys attach securely, keeping the light from ejecting itself off the pistol under fire. I like the removable bezel for battery changes. Batteries can be replaced without removing the light from the pistol. The ambidextrous switches feel great. The switches press inward and can be positioned within reach of my reaction side thumb. The switch moves a small amount and then has a tactile click with no perceptible over travel. If the switches are held down for about a half to 3/4 of a second and then let off, the light turns off. This is momentary mode. If the switches are pressed for a shorter time and then let off, the light stays on in constant mode. This is similar to many of the lights on the market, and I think it's a good system. It's intuitive and works the same for each of the two side switches. So of course, I had to test this light in the lab to see if it met the manufacturer's claims. My first test provides both max lumens as well as the output curve and runtime. As a reminder, max lumens are averaged based upon samples that are taken between 30 and 120 seconds. We sample every 5 seconds. Runtime is a measurement of how long the light stays at or above 10% of its rated output. In this case, that's 50 lumens. We utilize an integrating sphere with custom 3D printed inserts, and that helps us capture all the light and give us accurate readings. We also test max Candela. This requires 30 seconds of warm-up time before taking any samples. Our equipment is calibrated for 1 foot, which is too close per ANSI Plato specs. We do have new equipment coming that is calibrated at 1 meter. Regardless, I've been getting comparable maximum Candela numbers on the meter, so I think these results are reasonably accurate. So I fit the Wild 1 into our integrating sphere. I turned it on, and the meter read a bit over 370 lumens. I was hopeful that the light would warm up and increase output before the first 30 seconds elapsed, but it didn't. The light measured 228 lumens per the ANSI Plato FL1 spec. I was a bit surprised at the result, so I fit up this second light with another new battery and I measured it. it came in at 235 lumens. Now, by comparison, our benchmark TLR7A measured 588 lumens in our most recent test. The TLR7A also has double the output of the Wild 1 for the first 45 minutes. Now, when it came to runtime, the first light almost met the 2-hour manufacturer's spec at 1 hour and 53 minutes. The second light clocked in at just under 90 minutes. Candela for the Wild 1 came in at 3,117, which is close but not quite to the TLR7A's 3,441 Candela. Now, if you want to see how other compact lights perform for Lumen and Candela, see our data in the Compact Light Showdown. Now, what about these results? I don't know if we got 2 bad units, or if this is what we should expect in terms of performance from that little Wild 1. My experience is that manufacturers are still not acclimated to an independent lab taking and posting data using calibrated equipment. I think the manufacturers often go one of 2 ways when creating their specs. The first possibility is that they do not take their own measurements and instead rely upon theoretical performance published by the LED manufacturers. Unfortunately, those specs don't take into account how the light electronics are configured to pull current from the battery, and the specs don't take into account any loss from the reflector or lens or other components. Another option is that manufacturers simply have a target spec that they want to hit based upon competitive analysis. So they pick a marketing number that has no lab data to back it up. I know our equipment is accurate because we recently sent off a number of lights to UL for their testing, and they came in very close to our measurements. Just a couple of days ago, I sent an email to Inforce asking about the results I received. Once I get information back, I'll provide an update in the comments below. Our eyes can only see colors that are sent by the lighting and then reflected back towards us. If a light does not project the red spectrum, for instance, reds will not appear vibrant, and objects, including skin tones, could appear greenish. That is why we measure light quality using a measurement called CRI. To test each of these items, we gather CRI, or Color Rendering Index, and light temperature. For reference, studio lighting should be at or above at least 95 CRI, and I personally prefer a color temperature around 5600 Kelvin, which is very close to the daylight color temperature. Here is the chart for the Wild 1 CRI. You can see that while this CRI is only 72.7, it is actually in the better range of weapon lights that we have seen. On the other hand, 7100 Kelvin is pretty cold even amongst the weapon lights. Yeah, the Wild 1's a lot more blue. So in terms of what I see, like as the guy at the other end, it looks like they're both about the equal strength. I can see where the light's coming from, and then there's a bunch of splash around it, but I cannot see you with either one. But the Wild 1 is a lot cooler from this angle. You might wonder if we're sponsored by any of the light manufacturers. The answer is no. We create holsters. As a result, we can bring you unbiased data for you to make a good decision on your weapon lights. My company Works has designed holsters for the Glock 19 family with the Inforce Wild 1. We provide both inside the waistband and outside the waistband holsters for left and right-handed shooters. These holsters are available now. Look for the links in the description below. So this is the Works M6 inside the waistband holster. It has our normal feature set of adjustable height and cant clip for 1.5 inch belt. It does have a claw which helps tuck the grip into the body. It has a full height sweat shield. It accommodates suppressor height sights. It accommodates drop through for folks like me that are running a compensator. Has adjustable retention, and it does have a bump at the bottom which helps with carry comfort. In particular for the Wild 1, it does have that click in sound. And it releases cleanly with a sharp tug. This is the M7 outside the waistband holster. It comes with a belt lock that adjusts for belts up to 2 inches wide. It can also be removed and you can attach Safariland attachments in its place. This holster also has adjustable click-in retention that releases with a sharp tug. The Wild One is likely to have a following. I do appreciate the all aluminum design, the battery loading through the front, and the switches do have a good feel. I am concerned about the output, and the jury is still out regarding battery drain. Now, would I recommend the light? I can't do that based purely upon our lumen test. If a light doesn't meet the manufacturer's claims, then I can't recommend it.